What's up, Fan Addicts? Charlie, aka CT Fan Man, here at you. Ready to go again, another week. You know, we used to always start out the week where we'd be like, hey, what'd you do? But I'm like, I got nobody to talk to right now, so I guess I'll just talk for myself. Not a lot this last weekend. Just kind of getting things done, getting ready for the new year. I did, though, actually, you know, we talk about personal stuff a little bit. I did pick up a truck to work on, and it is very unique. It's a 1964 Datsun. I'll have to, as it gets a little prettier, it's pretty ugly and crusty right now, but I'm going to do a little number on it, dollar up, and save a little piece of history. She's definitely a cool little truck. Got a soft spot for those trucks. But, yeah. Other than that, just getting the office all dialed in. We've got a bunch of exciting things going on around here, adding some personnel and ramping up, so we'll keep you posted on that front. But don't really need those glasses, so we're going to ditch that. So anyways, this week, I figure we'll talk about an application. You know, we definitely were running some podcasts, some promotional things on YouTube and Instagram of showing some product features. We've got our In series, which is a part of the Silent series that's listed on our website. We've got the 25 by 10 or 30-10, 30-15, 40-10. I think those are the three we're kind of highlighting this month. All those have really awesome sound quality and acoustic profiles. So if you're looking for something quiet and small, we've got awesome options. So, you know, the application that I want to share with you guys today is, you know, without getting too deep into it, you know, I'll bring this up here. Here's a picture of it. So, you know, I was at a customer late last year, and we come in, obviously they've got some thermal issues, and they do a control box that is mounted outside, takes direct heat. You know, obviously Arizona is kind of the test bed, right? Because you've got what your ambient temperature is outside, then you've got temperature rise inside. So in this case, if we're looking at, you know, roughly 110, 115 temp on the outside of this box, it's a stainless steel box with electronics in it that are creating heat. You know, the temperature could rise as high as almost 180 degrees inside that box in, you know, worst case situation. So my customer has a IC in there. You know, that IC manufacturer, for what it does in this application, came with a very basic heatsink that normally would work if you weren't in such an extreme environment with those temperatures, right? So customer's like, Charlie, we need some help here. You know, this is kind of the layout for the heatsink. So here I've got this picture I'll bring up. Well, the heatsink didn't have any fins on it. So we look at it, you know, and we're saying, okay, the chip itself is, you know, creating about 5 watts of temperature rise. We're saying there's about 30 watts total in the system to dissipate. So, you know, we're like, okay, you know, it might get a little tough for this fan with the heatsink with this. So you might need to put some active cooling on it and get the, you know, a 25 or a 30 millimeter fan, because that's how small this thing is, right? So this whole unit is barely, you know, 30, not even 35 millimeters wide by a few inches long. So its looks can be deceiving sometimes, but it's a little guy. So, you know, what we are able to do, right? Not only do we put together, say, hey, all right, here's something that'll fit in your application really nice. Let me bring up the other part here real quick. Where you at? There you are. So now check this bad boy out. So we talk about simulations and stuff, and this is a very simple one, right? So the customer's like, well, Charlie, I really need to know that this is going to work properly. So I said, no problem. We'll run a quick sim on it then. So we plug in the ambient temperature, you know, we put in the wattage outputs on the chip so you can see the yellow board in the background there. We're generating the heat. We run the fan on it so you can see here that, you know, the the heat sink solid green, right? So in the green area there, you're looking at about a 51 degree temperature, which for them was great in this size, or I'm sorry, in this temperature range for summertime in Arizona. So, this was pretty easy. We come in, we're like, okay, we can take the same heat sink. We grew the fins by about 10 millimeters. We slapped the fan on there. We're able to run a simulation. We got this done in 2 days for them. They're like, this is perfect. This is exactly what we needed. And then along the way, we said, well, hey, you know what? Not only are you going to need that on your chip to keep it happy, but it certainly wouldn't hurt to throw a fan on the box to be a stir fan for the box. So, we've also got a 60 by 25 millimeter fan going in there. It's about 20 CFM and nice and quiet. It's like in the 30 dB range, so you don't have a fan buzzing in the background. But, in this case, where the fan mounts, the customer has a really nice labyrinth so that it can be an IP rated box. If you had an application where the fan was on the outside and you needed it protected, we got you covered, because we can do IP55 or IP67 on there. Shoot, we can even do a 304 stainless finger guard, so you're not getting rusty components on there. But that's how it comes together. I mean, this whole situation here literally took us about 2 weeks from start to finish. Customer's like, okay, well, why don't we run a couple of prototypes and make sure it's all good? So we're able to put together prototypes for, I think, made from scratch on the heatsink and everything before we tool it. I think it was less than $200 a piece. So you buy a couple of them, they can do all the validation, make sure everything's good, and then everything's good, we can put it to production. So right now, on the heatsink front, everybody is concerned about tariffs and aluminum tariffs and all that kind of good stuff. And, the aluminum tariffs are pretty much the same anywhere in the world, right? It's affecting every country. But we're currently, our volume manufacturing is in China, in Dongguan area. But we do have options in Thailand and Vietnam at this point as well. So, China's still at about a 55% tariff rate over there. We bill 40, it helps subsidize some of that. But, Taiwan, Vietnam, Thailand, all those guys are in the 20% range there. So that's kind of where we're at today. So we'll see how things go easing into the year. I know there's some pending Supreme Court ruling, looking at the various tariffs and whatnot. But for us, it's business as usual, and we deal with it as it comes up on a weekly basis. So I think I'll keep it short and sweet this week. Just want to show you guys some of the basics of what we can do on simulations, and as they come up, I'm happy to share. And again, you got any questions, comments, or topics you'd like reviewed, give us a shout out, like, subscribe, do all that happy stuff, and we'll see you on the next one. Keep it cool.